Now let's look at a more detailed description of simple data types in the Oracle database. What I have running here is the Oracle Enterprise Manager console, looking at my database into my concert schema, and here are all my concert schema tables. Let's take, for instance, the venue table. All the data types have certain restrictions. Let's pick one of these fields and just look at the various data types that are available. As you can see, I have char, varchar2, nchar, and varchar2, number, date, various other data types which are complex data types, which we'll discuss later on, and there's uRowID and float and rowID. Let's do the following. Let's go and create a new field temporarily, and let's say we can call it revenue. What would we do with revenue? Revenue is a monetary amount, so we'd probably want to make it a number field. What's happened here is it's given me a size of 10, which means it contains 10 characters. I can set its scale as 2, which will give me 2 numbers the right side of the decimal point. I can specify it as being nullable or being not nullable. Let's say I specify it as being not nullable and give it the default value of 0. That's what I can do with the number simple data type. I could, of course, assume that some really funky numbers go in there, such as float values, which is unlikely, but let's go and change that data type to float. Then I have 10. I can give it a scale of, say, 5, and as you can see, it will not allow me to type in a scale because it's a floating point number. I can also set its null value as nullable or not nullable and give it a default value. Chances are I wouldn't want a revenue field having a float value in it because it's a monetary amount and I generally would need 2 decimal points on it. Let's say I have a date for the venue. So let's say I just type in concert. That's the date of the concert. Usually it's better to give a more descriptive name for it, so let's just say date. Or better, DTE, because date is probably a reserved word and it may give me trouble later on, although Oracle will probably allow me to create that field. So this would be a date type. As you can see, I can't set the size and scale for a date field because it's irrelevant. It's a fixed length field. I can, however, set nullable, and I could set a default date value. My default date format automatically in Oracle is generally month, day, year. However, think about how a date is used. There's not much point in using a default value, especially this date, the date of a concert. It's variable, very flexible, no point. What other data types do we have? Let's go and create a dummy field. Well, let's call it dummy, just so we can look at some other data types. Char and varchar. So let's create a varchar field. The maximum size on a varchar field is 4,000 characters. Let's test that. So let me go and create 5,000 characters. Now we go down to here, and we show the SQL window. And it says what it's going to do here is it's going to alter table concerts. We'll get into alter table commands later on. It's going to add revenue 10.2 with the default 0, not null. It's going to add the field date. It's going to add a field dummy. The maximum size for a varchar2 field is 4,000 characters. So let's apply this to execute that. And it tells me that the specified length is too long for its data type. It's telling me that this varchar field is too long. So I'll change it to 2,000. I'll apply it again. Here we have another problem. Because I have data in the table already, I cannot create a non-nullable column. So we're going to make all these variables null, just for the sake of making it work. And there I've successfully created those fields. What else can we look at? Let's try a char variable. Let's try a char variable. And here we have a char variable that is 2 characters long. I could apply that as well and we wouldn't get a problem. nchar and nvarchar2 contain national character set values. That's about it for simple data types. There is a timestamp variable data type, which is not apparent in here.